Welcome to the British Shooting Show 2022. Today we're going to be walking around, seeing some stands. We probably won't cover everything, but we're going to have a really good try. Enjoy. We're back at the British Shooting Show.
After what, 2 years?
A little break, 2-year break.
Yeah.
Good to be back though. The break has been welcome.
I think it does, and I think it means it sort of brings a new feel to it that we're actually...
It builds the excitement.
Yeah, and we're actually can get out, and COVID's not taking over our life anymore.
No masks.
No masks.
I've got a bit of a plan of attack.
Right.
We're going to look at some guns.
Right.
That's it.
I want to look at some thermals.
Really?
I'm finally going to take that step, mate. I've gone from night vision, I'm going to move to thermal.
Well, we can spend a very small amount of time on that. You buy the same one as me, your life will be really easy, and we get a decent deal.
That sounds fair.
We can bully Stu. That's unimportant. We're not going to bully anyone. There's been a couple of gun releases here today. That's exciting.
That's cool.
And they're not that cool.
Are they not? We'll be the judge of that, shall we?
They might be cool.
Let's be the judge of that. What about that?
Let's go. So I was looking at this gun, it's absolutely lovely.
Yeah, I know somebody's got one very similar.
Yeah, it's almost like it was made for me, isn't it? It'd be rude not to start at Longthorn.
It would, mate.
Channel gun sponsor.
It would. And I was looking at their selection, and they've got a lovely array of guns there, and then this one that's unnaturally big.
I mean, this one did stick out. It's quite pretty.
It is quite pretty. Why?
To be honest, it's almost like it was made for me, right?
It was like it was made for you, mate. Do you think that's because it is yours?
It is. It took Sasha about 10 minutes to realise that.
After filming that gun, how many times? He's finally realised, 10 minutes ago.
And shooting pheasants with this gun.
He's finally realised that it is actually your gun, mate. And I must admit, it does her proud to be up on show, doesn't it?
Jim did ask if we could put it there, and the answer was of course.
And to be honest, having it displayed alongside the titanium one, alongside one of their normal sporters, just sets it off right, doesn't it?
It's cool, and it's the biggest of the lot, and that obviously aids my compensation needs.
The XL was really nice.
It
really
was
nice.
really nice.
Really nice to hear.
Mate, have a feel on that. It's not as nice.
We attached, are we?
Yeah. It's the new entry level, right?
The new entry level is a product that we made specifically for UK market.
The Kronos was the entry level.
The Kronos was the entry level.
What have you lost between a Kronos and the Z1?
For example, this is sold just with a specific option. So there is no possibility to customize. It's coming with a fixed stock only. Is just 29.5 inch.
There's no choices around.
There's not much choice.
You're not getting the Zolly experience.
And also the trigger mechanism is not removable.
Okay.
Has it got a selector?
Yes.
Yeah.
You close your eyes, put it in your shoulder, mount it up. It feels like
good.
any sporter would.
It feels like a good
you've got
quality
that
sporter.
big, heavy, fills your hand. You know, there's nice balance to it. You know, she's good as gold. That rib, when you look down, it looks the sight picture, right?
It's a gun that, to be honest, for the price, who is buying and is not looking to particular customization, it's a great deal.
It sits well next to 692s, and not obviously that you don't compete with them, but it sits well in the market of that just under $3,000.
Yeah.
Feels very similar.
But with a boss style locking system. With a monolithic action, with a silver soldered barrels, so with important features, technically.
We'll see if we can get one to review at some point. It'll be quite interesting.
Yeah. It feels good. Feels good in the hand. I mean, like I say,
it does. It's nice.
Yeah. The market's very much going that way, isn't it? People want something that's very entry level, very, works well and fits well. It could work as a stepping stone as well into the Zolly range. Somebody buys one of them, falls in love with it, learns to shoot with it, really likes it, but then wants something just that next step up. They're going to jump up to the models and go to bigger models and go for the nicer ones.
I think you'd prefer shooting this to the XL,
feels
the way you shoot. It feels much more you.
Yeah.
Whereas the XL is much more me, big and heavy.
While the XL Evo is instead specific for competition, and there is the only action in the world with a variable weight system.
Yeah. I like that. That's my favourite thing about it.
It is pretty cool. What are these, Johnny?
I've no idea, mate. They're quite interesting, though. I've never heard of them before. Custom fit guards.
Could you abbreviate that to CFG?
That would be a good abbreviation.
Wouldn't it?
Imagine if there was a discount code to get money off of these.
Like TGS 10 or something.
That's 10% off of these.
Yeah? That'd make them really reasonably priced, wouldn't it?
I think they're pretty reasonably priced without it.
Yeah, but with it,
Makes a lot of sense to me.
I'd save my hearing for that.
From £79, you could save your hearing. Bargain.
Bargain. Good job, man. Yeah, good.
Making me look very unprofessional here.
This is Sam from Tweedle. They do things. You probably heard of them.
Like this.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's pretty fair.
Can I have the winning ticket?
You buy the winning ticket, yeah.
I keep buying the winning tickets, and they didn't win. So they're not winning tickets, are they?
Not everybody can win.
Well, this is true.
Everybody can be hopeful until they lose.
I'm gonna say, I'm pretty sure I've bought a Land Rover by now with tickets off of it.
The odds are always good and always in the winning, always in the entrance favour on Tweedle, that is for sure. So yeah,
It's quite cool, this truck.
it's very nice. Yeah, a good friend of mine that owns the car. It's a very solid piece.
It's a very
piece
cool
of kit,
truck.
and it's in the perfect colour.
It's the only colour to have one in, apart from
the
black.
only colour,
Gangster
yeah.
black.
Correct.
TD5, TDI.
No, 300 TDI.
Oh, 300
Really?
TDI.
The best.
Oh,
It's minty,
don't
mate.
get any better, do they?
No.
I'll have a ticket.
We
Come
might
on.
even get
How many tickets have we got?
I'll have a
Go on,
ticket.
then.
Yeah, come on, I'll have a
come on,
ticket.
Come on.
There you go. Do you take euros?
For that, you can tell this man's Mr. Europe. can't
Yeah.
you?
Go on.
Come on.
I want the winning one though, not him.
Yeah, of course.
Right, if we don't get
Oh, do you want to make a pack now? Do
TGS have money. They actually spend money.
you want to make a pack now on the camera that
Yep.
if either of us win, we got half us on it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want it as a daily driver.
Hey?
I don't want it as a daily driver.
No, exactly. We
If
just got
either
half
of you win it, promise me you'll put it in the shed and make money on it. Do not drive it around the pedal shed.
No, we'll drive it
No,
around.
we're gonna get
Grain in it.
No.
Grain growing out.
No,
Neil.
I'm going to do what I did to the 20 ball that he told me to buy. I've trashed it already. I'm going to trash that probably as well.
I'm going to make a deal. If either of us win it, it becomes a TGS truck when we go and film.
Right,
And we
there
don't
we
drive
go.
it any other time.
There we go. Deal.
Because neither of us could afford the upkeep on it.
Let's go, Johnny. Let's do it.
Are you ready? You've come. Teeth chokes! Mate, that is the most beautiful choke I think I've ever seen. I was stood here from Josh from Not Teague, from Barbary Shooting School, but he's like done some sort of transformation.
Exactly that, yeah. How are you, Johnny, all right?
I'm very good, mate.
Yeah, good. Teague chokes, here we are.
Teague chokes. We're going to talk to you today because steel shot is a thing.
Yep.
There is increasing knowledge and guidance on steel shot, and Teague is the person who makes guns multi-chokes in the UK.
Yep.
Talk to me quickly about Teague choke. How much does it cost? What can you get? Why should people do it?
So obviously, in terms of the aftermarket side stuff, so your multi-choke guns, factory guns that have already got a set of chokes in, obviously we make a lot of chokes that will fit straight into factory Berettas, Brownings, whatever. Completely interchangeable. A lot of people say, well, what's different? Why are a Teague choke better than my factory choke with the come with the gun? So the Teague technology, that is one taper. So from the bottom of the choke to the top of the choke, it's one gradual taper all the way down.
Less pressure.
Exactly. So your aftermarket, so your factory chokes would have a parallel section in there. Mm-hmm. So the choking may not happen until the last sort of 10 mil of the actual choke. You know, we parallel and then sort of taper right at the end. Every sort of manufacturer is slightly different. That's the technology behind that. So that's why we sort of tend to find people would buy our aftermarket chokes rather than the sort of factory chokes, and then
So they should technically be better, A for pattern and
Correct.
B for pressure
Yeah.
with steel.
Yeah, and more sort of denser patterns, less flies on the outside of the pattern, because that shot's being gradually constricted over a period of time rather than just sort of tapered right at the end. To get more sort of consistent patterns, and generally speaking, denser patterns, more truer patterns. Like the tolerances Teague goes, they're all sort of to the thou. So if it's a half choke and it's in a 12 bore, it's going to be 20 thou choke.
yeah.
You know, it's if it's, you know, we find some of the factory chokes can be a little bit more open there. The tolerances aren't quite as sharp. Going on to the multi-choke of the gun.
So for example, Ant has a LLL fixed choke,
Yeah.
but has a half fixed choke, but
Yeah.
which is not HP steel proofed.
Yep.
What would he do?
So Teague would then take the gun, they'd multi-choke the gun to fit it with the thin wall system.
Yep.
That gun will then, obviously, any gun that's been multi-choked goes to the proof house. So we send
Yep.
all square in proof house, they become then re-proofed. We would reproof them as standard for standard steel, so normal proofing. I think it's an extra £30. They'll then HP steel shot proof it and put a fleur-de-lis on the barrel as well.
Yep. So then obviously mine had come back. Mine's currently a fixed choke.
Yep.
Is there options to get whatever chokes I want, as many chokes as I want, or as fewer chokes as I want?
Yeah, so you can have, when the multi-choking process is done, you don't have to think, right, I don't want to go and spend 500 quid and buy 10 chokes and have a complete set. You can just say, right, I'll try a pair of quarters and a pair of halves, for example. They get made with a gun, and then in, say, 6 months' time, you think, actually, I want to try a pair of 3/4. Ring Teague up, the chokes are all stamped with a serial number, which is unique to your gun. You quote the serial number to us, we then manufacture the 2 chokes for you, send them out to you. The gun doesn't have to come back. We keep all the details on our system.
What's the base price of a conversion?
So you're looking at $370 for multi-choke in both barrels.
Including VAT?
Including the VAT.
That's
and then,
not bad.
So that includes the reproofing as well.
And 2 chokes?
That's standard, just the machining, and then there's chokes, £48, start at £48 for flush chokes per choke, and then you just build it up from there, depending on how many chokes you want to start off with.
And you don't have to have the epic...
And this one is the coolest thing in the world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the coolest thing in the world. It's gold. I have noticed on the side of it, it says Benelli and full.
Are you going to buy that?
Can I take this home and shove it in my Benelli M1?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Yes, you can.
That's very kind of you.
That is a gift from Teague to you.
That is the coolest thing you've
I don't think I'd
seen in
ever
your
say
life.
I was going to be jealous of you. I don't think I was ever going to be jealous of you, mate.
That is. Why? So why the gold?
They want to be different. People want to be different. They want to stand out. I want a gold choke. It's not going to make you shoot any better. It'll make you look cooler.
If you're going to have a multi-choke, might as well make it look
exactly
epic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the big thing going back to the multi-choking process, like what we find a lot of people completely different end of the scale from what this does, but they want the flush look. So the Teague thin wall system, when it's flush in the barrels, it doesn't even look like it's in.
Do you tend not to find you get this sort of line though, where you get the old boys, the old school boys who don't want to see chokes sticking out the end of the barrel, and then the new school coming through and your clay shooters who love to see a good bit of choke sticking out the end of it, and if it's vented, even better.
And if we go on the basis of that one taper, so obviously when you go onto your extended chokes and why people sort of want that extended, that taper then is a longer taper into the extension. So therefore it's giving you better patterns.
That is
unbelievably cool. Andy Norris, welcome back to TGS.
Well, thank you. And for once, I was going to say, we've actually met up and it's not pissing down with rain.
This is a roof over head.
It might be outside.
It is so
bad out there,
it's so windy that people are like, can't go British shooting show. It's windy.
We've got here, this literally came in last night. Talk about lastminute.com.
The Jaeger NXT.
The Jaeger NXT. Now, it's going to be offered in 3006 and 308 to start off with.
This is a Heinel product.
It's Heinel, made by Merkel.
And we do know that you like Heinel.
I like Heinel. You
He
can't
loves
beat
a bit of
Heinel. We have the eyesight system, which you know is removable, factory threaded, M15x1, the same as all the Merkel products.
Interchangeable barrel.
No.
Oh, that's an interesting choice. But it's cheap though, isn't it? Relatively.
I think it's reasonably priced. It's £2,000.
Yeah, which is next to
That's
the
not bad.
BRXs and the things in the world. That's about right.
It's a detachable magazine. It's got a few quirky things. It's got like the other Heinels there. The Merkels. It's got the integral Picatinny rail.
Very good choice.
Okay, so there's.
So you're
no messing
saving
about them.
£100 on bases.
Yes.
Saving.
And it's so simple now, so you can just take off and put on, short range scope, long range scope,
Night vision, thermal,
whatever else you want to put.
Open
on
sights.
that. And you can put your open sights on, take them off. You can do anything you want. The wood. So instead of using
Wood.
normal wood, they've used pine, which is, as you know, in Germany, grown
Free.
by the umpteen million acres.
And laminated it.
And the
they've
price of
laminated it.
timber's gone up lately, especially
And
pine.
This is technically a sustainable wood stock. I don't think that
Filling
is-
it with plastic isn't really sustainable.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because on that note, it's not plastic.
Oh, what is it?
It's resin from trees.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
It's a
I don't
bio
know
rifle.
Quite, yes. Sustainable wood.
Yeah.
All the plastic parts are resin.
Tree resin.
Tree resin. I don't know how they do it.
Tree
I'm not a
glaze.
scientist. Okay.
You're a mark.
It's also, the barrel is optimised for lead-free.
Oh, as is the Merkel Helix. Only barrel that's until now that is
And now this
optimised
is
for
the
lead-free.
second one.
And now this, because they're made in the same factory.
Let's talk about things people care about mostly. It's a straight pull
Yes.
that we hadn't really mentioned. It's a straight pull.
Quite simple. You know, pull the trigger, pull it back, push it forward.
It's nice.
It's simple. Now, you want to put a safety on, just pull that back. So
quite
you've got
cool.
cold hands, you're in whatever weather, and you sat in your high seat, you see your Rover or whatever else you want to shoot, just push it forward.
It's just a safety. It's not a decock or anything like
Yes, it totally decocks it.
that. Oh, cool. So
Cocks
climb a
it.
high seat in complete
Yep,
safety.
and it locks the bolt.
Nice.
So it's decocked, the bolt's locked.
And you've
can't
got a
do
little
things.
doofer on the back to open the bolt.
Bolt release if you want to unload it.
What sort of accuracy are we getting out of as well, Andy? That's the big thing.
We shot this and we were getting sub-inch groups just with factory ammo.
That's it. If you're getting sub-inch with factory ammo, it's good enough. That's the
So
point
I
I
I would
would
100% agree.
Yeah.
When we're talking about accuracy now, I think everything's sub-MOA, and really accurate means if you home load it, you shoot through the same hole at 400 feet.
Yep, you could go reloading or you could spend more time down the pub and enjoy it.
That's
I
more my
agree.
sort of thing, mate.
Yep,
More trips to Argentina.
yep. So there you go. What do you reckon, Ant? You're a professional rifleman.
I like it, mate. I do. I think it's nice and lightweight, that's for sure.
It's very well balanced for a laminate stock, isn't it? Normally laminate stocks feel quite dense.
Yeah, that's why I thought.
Is this
I
something-
think that's why I thought it was so short, because when
Yeah.
you hold it in your hand, it feels small.
something
It's
to do with
lightweight.
it.
It's
It's
quite
set
so
far
lightweight.
back.
Yeah, you know, the trigger's real nice on it. She's real light. It's not overly complicated, is it? In 30.06, really light. Be beautiful for carrying over the hill, but it's short. It's lightweight. 30.06 is quite a snappy round. Is it going to kick you?
As a long-term 30.06 shooter, I would argue out that it doesn't kick that badly at all. You choose to go and shoot heavy 32, 34, 36 gram 4s and 5s at pheasants,
Yeah.
and you don't complain, you shoot 100 in a day. Shooting one of them is nothing.
So basically then, what you're saying is 30.06 in that is a geezer's gun, and if you're lightweight, go and buy something else.
Yeah, by the 308,
Basically, yeah.
If that's for you.
If you're an alpha, where is he? If you're an alpha, buy this. If you're not, if you're a beta like me, then
Virgin.
by all means go and buy a 17 HMR. Cracking rifle.
So we'll do this one here.
This is your inertia,
So this is the inertia. This is the Benelli you like, as they say.
and this is
Yeah.
EGE,
This is EGE,
and that's how we're saying it,
We're saying EGE. I think they say Eye in
which is a
Turkey.
nice coincidence.
You know. Oh, interesting. I hadn't
Yes.
thought about that.
There you
There we
go.
are. But yeah, so this is, we call them EGEs. This is the 350,
Yes.
which is inertia operated semi-auto. This one's actually got 28-inch barrels, which should be fine for you.
Yes.
Because you have the stature. We're actually thinking probably 26-inch might be just a little bit more wieldy.
So this is your new Turkish brand for ASIs.
This is new to us. So basically the way guns go in Turkey is you've got makers and you've got brands.
Okay.
And there's a lot more brands than there are makers. It's 500 quid.
That's pretty
It's
good.
500 quid for actually a gun which bears an uncanny resemblance.
An uncanny resemblance.
Uncanny resemblance to one of the leading brands and makes of this
Of
type
inertia
of gun. Of inertia operated
Rated semi-automatic shotguns.
Exactly, there you are. Took the words out of my mouth.
But it is less than half of the price.
And it's less than half the price.
Does it have warranty?
And it does have warranty. So we are, at the moment, we are discussing warranties with them, but what our standard is 5 years.
That seems very fair.
Which is fair, especially given what this sort of thing is, which is the words work and horse. Sweet little baby.
It's got to be the best copy I've seen so far.
Yeah. Here we are.
Even
so the legendary stance, feet together, sideways on.
Yeah, well,
It does look very good. And
it does
it's
look
great on film
fantastic.
too.
Yes, thank you. It's entirely developed for the film well.
Maybe bien sûr.
It's a little heavier
Yeah.
than the original.
Than the original, yeah. Yeah.
but not unpleasantly so. Will you do stock spaces for regular sized people? And I say that for others, not just me.
No. I believe that is a possibility, although haven't been down that road yet.
That's a nice product.
It's good. And
For £500.
For £500, it's very much does what it says.
If it comes with a
on the
5-year
tin.
warranty, that's £100 a year, £8 a month to rent a gun.
See, you do the arithmetic.
When you're looking at that, I look at that with clothing and boots and things. You sort of have to sometimes with products that are going to be workhorses. It's not a Rizzini 460 that will last you a lifetime, so it doesn't matter.
No, exactly. Yeah.
It is a AWA over and under that's
So it's an AYA over and under.
quite nice looking.
It is quite nice looking. It's very nice feeling.
13 grand-ish.
13 grand-ish.
So, a step
So-
up from the EGE, some would say.
It's maybe a little hop. little hop.
I like that.
So it's built in the AOA factory next to your number ones, number
It
twos.
is absolutely
by the gang.
Absolutely by the same gang that do this, fully hand engraved. The philosophy behind this is, what do AYA do really well? They've got good craftsmen for stocking guns, for engraving them, for fitting and finishing. So they had this discussion, which is, do we go down what everybody's doing, which is machine made, automatic finish if possible, etc., etc., or do we do what we're very good at, which is stocking up by hand? So you get one of these, it'll be made to your measurements, whatever it is, because they're not saving any money by making this to standard.
Yes, because it's
the same guy who's doing it. So
there's no programming to be done.
Exactly, there's no program, and when the guy is marking out the block, whether he marks 15 or 15 and a quarter, or 1.5 and 2, or 1.5, 2 and a quarter, it's the same. He's still going to mark out the stock on the block, cut it out, make it, fit it. So that's the nice thing with this gun, is that actually what they're doing is that they are basically making you, it's the number 2 side lock, but in an over and under. And obviously, being an over and under, it's not a side lock, because we all know the challenges and costs. And,
it's inherently a terrible idea when the trigger plate is the better idea.
The better idea.
Is it a detachable trigger unit?
This one is not a detachable trigger unit.
Okay.
But the detachable trigger unit is on the cards. They were thinking of that at the same time as they thought of the fixed. So they've made the space for that.
Yes. Is this a relatively recent thing?
It is.
Because they've made a lot of over-and-unders over the years in progressively good order.
Yeah, absolutely. It took them a while to get out of the. You may remember the old Coral, the sort of the German,
the Germanic
fashion, the Merkel style, which the Spanish loved, the Germans loved, the French liked.
The rest of the world is completely ambiguous against.
Well, exactly.
At best.
Yeah, I think ambiguous is a great word. Yeah, ambivalent probably.
Yes.
Then we had in the late 80s, we had the Yeoman over and under,
which was very adequate. Lots of people started at it.
Yeah.
It was very reasonably priced.
Yeah, the price was perfect. It had the AY name. It had the Yeoman name as well.
Yes.
Which conjured up those sort of feelings of reliability, robustness, no nonsense.
And it followed through mostly on that.
Actually, yeah. The Yeoman over and under became more expensive to make.
Yes.
And other people were doing other things. Mm-hmm. And I think that what AYA took away from those things is they're not a big producer of firearms. They're not making 6,500 units a year.
You're not going to go to them for your next clay gun.
No, exactly. Well, you can go to them for one of these in a sporting configuration.
Unless you're Stephen G, in which case you should all your clothes with an AOA.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can have that made into a sport then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh wow.
So they will make.
That'd be interesting.
If you want a legend, you go down to them, you come to me and say, this is what I want on my gun. I want a sporting stock, I want this shape of grip, I want the wider comb, this rib, I want this length of barrels, etc. I want a beaver-tail forend, and they will make it for you. Because everything they do,
and it doesn't increase the price that much anyway, because they're doing
it makes very little difference to the price.
So for 15 grand, you're getting a hand-built competition gun.
Effectively speaking, absolutely.
That's suddenly, whereas
that's a lot more attractive, isn't it?
Yeah, their side-by-sides are quite expensive, but they're very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in over and under land, that's a bargain.
Well, exactly. The side-by-sides reflect the cost of building side-lock shotguns now. And it's interesting because we're standing next to a pair of 50 grand number ones.
They're quite nice.
And there was a time when, if you'd said to me, AYA are going to sell a pair of number ones 50 grand, I would have looked at you and go, no. But actually, if you're building a top quality hand-built side lock,
lots of work.
It's basically what it's going to cost you.
You know, they named this after me.
Did they?
Yeah.
The legend.
Yeah. They watched the Redeem
They had
video.
one which was the bell end.
Is that mine?
Sounds good in Spanish.
Uncle Tim, the high-tech game. That's new. How is it different to a high-tech? Obviously, that's probably the easiest question. People are very familiar with high-techs. How is it different?
So, what we wanted to do was to bring a high-tech out that was specifically for the game shooter rather than competition shooters. So what we've done is we've removed all of the
paint,
the text,
yes,
from the side of the action. Text.
So it's a plain action.
Plain action. And what we've done is we've just very subtly underneath put Barazzi high-tech game.
Very nice.
Very nice.
It's a proper Perazzi looking gun. It's quite
Yes,
nice.
I mean it's a high-tech action. The high-tech action is slightly larger than the MX-12 action. They just increased the size of it slightly. Just to
it's
give it
quite a big step there. It's quite good looking.
Yeah, they've extended the size of the sort of cheeks of the action, so it's a little bit heavier, a little bit better sort of balance between the hands. And that hasn't historically been a game version, so that's really what we've done. The action and the barrels are the same as.
Has it still got the reverse taper rib?
You can have the reverse taper rib on it,
but not as standard. It's just got a standard parallel.
This has just got a 7x7 rib on it, auto safe. The stock profile we've made more, again, a game orientated stock profile rather than a slightly heavier competition stock.
When you buy one, what? 13 grand, 14 grand, 11 grand, 11,810,000 million pounds.
Very exact.
Yes, exact. Great guess. Do you get custom fitted stock in that?
Absolutely, yeah, always.
That's very good value
Always,
in that case.
yeah, always.
But they'll go with this profile.
Yep.
It's a touch higher than the old MX-12s, but a touch lower than the...
So on a standard high-tech, probably, we've taken probably 6 or 7 ounces out of the weight.
That's pretty good.
And these are 32 inch. So
how does it balance up with a 32-inch big barrel as you would on your Sporter with a quaint little stock on the back side of it? Does it come out very, very front heavy?
No. I mean,
is he allowed to touch it?
Yeah, you can. Try.
I wouldn't let him.
It balances very well. That's one of the things that we've worked on with that, and Simon Ward's had some influence on the setup of that.
And he's
gun.
quite good, I've heard.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah. So you can still have detachable trigger if you want. So that's
okay.
It'd be an HTS, which would have a detachable trigger. If you want engraving, you can have engraving on it. They do any of the engravings that you get on
These
the
are all
standard.
chargeable extras, though, one presumes?
Yes. So,
they're not at the kindness of their hearts. I'd love a full game scene if they're chucking it in for free.
Exactly. So you can have that on any of the standard Perazzi engraving you can have on that.
Very nice.
You don't have to have a plain black action. Fixed choke.
As standard.
Yeah. All high performance steel proofed.
To full choke now?
Well, no.
Because
they're high performance steel proved, but that is the proofing process. It doesn't mean that you can shoot high performance steel through a full choke. It just means that the barrels are proved to take that.
Interesting.
Okay, so our recommendation is obviously don't.
Quarter max, like most people.
Yeah. Been very popular. We've sold a lot of them.
You have indeed. Feels better this year.
I think it feels busier.
I think it feels busier, but it feels less crowded because the corridors. Remember last time we were here and the corridors were like super highways of horrific congestion? They've made it bigger.
They've definitely spaced it out better. You can sort of weave your way through in any direction now, can't you?
It's a much better vibe.
Yeah. You seen anything that's really tickled your pickle, mate?
That AYA.
I've got to admit, for a handmade, hand-finished gun, from start to finish to whatever you want,
where they're not going to bum you for optional extras because it's just for you.
I know, that is pretty special.
13 grand.
Pretty special.
It kind of dominates that 10 to 15 market.
And in that 20 ball with a little sexy round action.
And we're going to get to go and shoot it.
I know, that's going to be special. I'm going to enjoy that.
Yeah, it's going to be good fun.
We haven't looked at anything techie yet. I think we need to do a bit of techie this afternoon.
Okay.
Maybe.
But first, I want to go speak to Richard Barnes because he's got a Browning that he built here.
Ooh.
To his custom spec, and it's wicked.
Let's go with it.
I've seen it on Facebook.
Yeah. Must be true.
Oh no, it's very cool. So this is an RB. I think there was some question about its name. Essentially what they've done is taken a B25 and file up the action into something significantly sexier than a Browning.
It is.
It is exceptionally badass. Look at the way this is done.
Look at that finish on the top there. That is stunning, isn't it?
It's just cool in every way. But wow. Just the way that this is such a plain action, but just the way the metal is shaped around the trigger guard, the bevel down the extended trigger tang.
It's quite aggressive.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I like that.
It's Teutonic.
Yeah.
Like, it's ribless as well. Mate, that is...
Oh, it's ribless as well. I never even noticed that. Wow.
That is just a very cool gun. And I'm a big Browning fanboy.
Badass.
But there is a lot to be said in terms of improvements to the action design. not perhaps.
And they almost straight pistol grip. Right, it's almost straight stop.
That's a beautiful semi-pistol grip right there.
That no rib.
Look at that top loop. It's like a suit of armour.
You could almost put an edge on that with a knife sharpener. That is so cool that he's finished it.
Just the safety catch. I mean, there's not a feature on this gun that isn't just a bit. The way this is filed underneath the top lever, I didn't even look at the way that's fluted down in there.
Yeah.
Whoa. How cool is that? And we could talk to him and find out because, you know, he stood right there, the guy that built this gun.
And he could probably tell us what his plans are.
Yeah, that's enough.
No good us telling him what he should be doing.
I don't really care. I think this is a nice thing. The way that screw is filed on the bevel is beautiful. It's just well done. A lot of people have seen this gun being built on Facebook over the last 2 years.
Yes, they have.
It's quite cool.
Oh, thank you.
Tell us about yourself, tell us about the gun. There you go.
Right, so Richard Barnes, I'm a London-trained action filer. I apprenticed at Purdy's and then made my way around the other companies. Since 2004, I've been self-employed, which then has enabled me to work with another several different companies around the UK. So then in 2020 we had the pandemic. Slowed down a bit, and then I just started to play around with Brownings.
Was that not a thing before?
Never touched a Browning, never picked up a Browning, looked at a Browning.
Why Browning then? Personal preference? Or
is it better than Beretta?
A gentleman asked me, can I do something on one of his Brownings?
Okay.
No, he'd end up doing something for Mr. Swan.
That's a nice gun, his one.
Yeah. And I looked at it and thought, there's no way I can do anything with a Browning. It's flat, it's just...
Well, they are what they are. It's a great design, but it's plain.
So I looked into it, started looking at the mechanics. Simple, but brilliant. So I thought, okay.
How do we complicate it?
How do we complicate it? So these two guns here, I've put V-springs in on rollers that just a bit more snappy.
Yeah.
I feel.
A bit more London.
A bit more London. Not only did I do that on the this version here, I've reworked the safety system that's based on the Holland system. So it's a direct rod from the lever to the thumb piece. It just clicks, it's perfect. It
nice. They're quite sloppy, the autosave on a Browning.
Yeah. So if you feel that one, you'll really notice the difference.
That's really nice, actually. Very simple.
I've played around with the sears, the bob weight, but also what I've done is try to restyle it.
You've done a very good job.
Now this is what I'm known for, just going out there with my hammer and chisel.
Well, this is out there, isn't it? I mean,
it's out there.
We've both just been sat and looking at it, and the more you look at it, and the longer you look at it, the more you notice something else you've done. You know, you look at it start and you think, yeah, that's impressive. But then the more you look in, and each individual little bit, you've had your own little twist to it, haven't you?
This is not a 2D item, it's a 3D, turn it, something pops.
How many man-hours, ballpark, to take the B25 action and turn it into this?
I do the metal work. Even just to put that on, I've got a barrel maker. Concentrate on this. So what did I spend on this gun? Probably about 60 to 80 hours. Maybe. I lost track.
I was going to say, a lot.
But if I was to do this again, it would be so streamlined because I know what I'm doing.
It was a developing process, wasn't
it? 4 different models. Porter, he's got that plain action.
Yes.
Standard stock with Schnabel.
Yep.
Standard stock with trap forend.
Yep.
Adjustable with Schnabel.
Yep.
And reduced stock with Schnabel.
So that means short-term, slightly Monte Carlo stock?
Higher Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
The Liberty stock.
Yeah.
We call it the RS.
These small, the RS.
Reduced stock.
Yes.
Reduced stock.
So come with the matte black barrels, is that an option?
Matte black barrel.
I think the matte black barrels is the coolest thing you've done since it was in last time. Matte black on everything. Yeah. This should be matte black too. It's an age thing, mate.
Yeah, well, I'm an old boy now, actually.
Yeah, I'm at the age where I'm still hanging on to my youth desperately.
You can still pretend to be.
Oh yeah, I need a matte black gun. I need a matte black gun, and I need a matte black car so I can live with the young people who think I'm not ancient.
Can wrap it.
Yeah. Wait, you don't want me to wrap it. But you've done like the combo thing for a long time. You never really advertised it, like because you could build essentially the stock and forend combinations.
Yeah. Well,
for some time now.
To be quite honest, this is why we've done it. We had spent so much time in after sales, taking stocks off, changing forends to make it exactly what they wanted. Now the consumer says, right, I can buy it as a standard gun in the format that I want.
And it keeps your stocking significantly easier.
It's a lot easier and a lot less time.
It means that if you don't have a stock, you say, no, I can't be bothered to change that window set over
or
cert.
we haven't got that particular forend in at the moment.
Yes.
It's going to be 6 months or whatever. So we've got the 4 different product codes now in 3 different barrel lengths. So it's sort of 12 line items, which is easy to maintain.
Because we had the update on the 525 Sporter in 2020, didn't we? That kind of brought it up a bit, made it handle and feel a bit nicer.
We also had the laminate as well, which came in.
Yeah, that was a good. I think has that been a success? I think it's been a success. I've seen tons of them around.
Yeah, very much. Which is why we basically use the same engraving. It's the plain engraving. It's
very popular.
Seems to have gone down very well. And then obviously using the classic Browning combinations of stock and forend and adjustability.
And not any significant price increase, which is the nicest part about it.
No, a small price increase, purely because we've had a few extra bits.
But full retail 17.95, which is
that's full retail,
another 70 quid over what it was. So 70 quid price increase to have whatever forend or football furniture you want, and matte black barrels, which is very cool. So this is the daddy of the 525 range this year.
The 525 Grade 1.
Grade 1 range. Sorry, that's what I meant.
It's an addition to the other products we've just reviewed.
Yes.
So this is what we call an EWA special. So every year we produce a limited number of products for EWA, which is in Germany, the German trade show. We're not going this year, but we are producing the products anyway, just as a limited edition.
Well, you can't give them another name at this point.
No, it's all it is really is the adjustable stock with the trap forend. This one has the matte barrels as well, and we'll have the extended chokes just to finish it off.
So it's a baby Ultra XS?
Basically, yes.
And it's 2,100 quid full retail?
Yes.
So it's the thinking man's Ultra XS?
It's correct. In fact, if I'd had my way, we would call it XS1, but...
yeah, that is a really good name for it.
Yeah, but there you go.
And you could have charged another 300 quid if it was the XS1.
Yeah, but everyone knows, it's basically a baby XS.
Yeah, it's not as pretty.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have some of the weighty, balancy features.
No, it's all pre-drilled for the weights, so you can buy them as an aftermarket. With all the Grade 1s now, we pre-drill the stocks to put the weight system in. You can buy the counterweight system on the barrel.
That's
as an optional extra.
I understand that you want to buy the pretty one because we like pretty guns.
Yeah.
But if you're just going to go shoot some clays and you've got £2,000 in the bank, there is not much better for £2,000 than that. Have a feel of that, mate. That is a nice thing. Given you just play with the Ultra XS, telling me how much of a clay muncher it is, it's the same.
It does handle the same, doesn't it?
It's going to be so fractionally different. It's just not as pretty.
The only difference is the gloss in the barrel, really. It's a matte barrel instead of a gloss barrel.
That's cool.
The Prestige Ultra has the titanium chokes. This will have steel extended chokes, but that's the only difference.
But you could buy
the
chokes and put them in there?
Yeah.
At which point you're going to be best part way to an Ultra XS Pro.
You might as well buy the XS.
If you wanted someone to go and put some serious cartridges through to get yourself on the clay circuit, you wouldn't want anything better than that, would you, really?
Well, certainly if you've got a really pretty game gun, like Exquisite, that's just a good thing. It's not going to invoke sort of the passion and the care for it, which will means you're going to use it hard.
It's a tool, and it's bulletproof. You use it 20 years later, it'll still be going. Still.
That's cracking. I like that.
But I've got a lot of time for that.
Especially with the adjustable comb as well, it just gives you that little bit more movement, doesn't it?
Well, now we've got every combination in the Grade 1 that you could possibly want. So
reminds me of a GTI. Plain, simple, hard as you like, similar spec, feels as good.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why that gun existed.
Yeah, and that's why people still want them now. That'll be the same, I would imagine.
Which one's this, mate?
I quote David, that if that is the tool, this is the passion. This is a Browning exquisite, some would say.
It is quite exquisite.
It's their Grade 4 gun in the B525 range. This is a 20-ball version. I like it. What I particularly like is the engraving from the forend to the action.
How that sits back together when it closes up is phenomenal, isn't it?
It's extra effort.
Yeah.
It just shows their tolerances and everything is just on point.
Yeah.
What more could you possibly want?
Very quaint, very pretty.
Because it is a passion, because both you and I picked this up and it turns something on in your head that you go, Yeah, that's cool. Like a drill.
Yeah.
I'd be able to drill loads of holes with that. But this you pick up and you go, I could fall in love with you. I think they sit well in the market now. Again, the market's changed so fundamentally over the last 6 years. That's £4,000, which nowadays actually is a very good value for a
very reasonably priced
plated, beautiful, grateful gun. You know, they don't come with a lifetime warranty, but it's a Browning, so it might as well do.
Yeah. I mean, this thing is, like you say, really nicely finished. Real nice bit of timber. Really fits well, doesn't it? It's light. You can throw it about.
It is quite
handleable. I know it's 20 bar, which suits me with my little hands quite well, but
tiny human.
my tiny human
Tiny human hands.
It is just there, isn't it? It is lovely.
It's nice. Like, as a game gun, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
It's well done.
It is. Like you say, you could love this. You could hurt that.
There's a good. I think that's the nice balance.
Definitely. We're at Old Cartridge in Wyrack with Uncle Chris, that sexy ball guy from Underside on the Clay Tour. And he's here to show us. What is it, Chris?
This is a HW97K. We've got an upgraded stock for sort of 2021, 2022. Lovely little checkered fore end with sort of fishtail scaling and a nicely cut out rear extra in the back of the stock, so when you're on the bag, lock it in, off you pop. Great for sort of pest control, target shooting. 97's been around for donkey's years, shoots like a dream. Handles lovely, you feel a bit of that.
I tell you what, mate, that's a nice deep bit of checker, isn't it? If you've got a bit
nice and grippy.
Yeah, you got wet hands or anything like that, you're not going to drop it easy, are you?
Great for controlling squirrels around your feeders, target shoot, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Fire arc, it'll last forever, and then you can hand it down to your children.
Yeah. What a lovely bit of kit, mate.
Now, I'd just like to point out, from Underside, I did shoot your LL, which is too short, too low in the cone for me. And I went back a week later and sprayed it with my most
Chris,
compaction 410.
nobody mentioned Humberside.
You did.
I just said about the sexy bald guy from Humberside. I didn't say anything about your bad shooting, mate. You brought that up.
I'm sorry, were we talking about Chris's bad shooting?
Yeah, apparently Chris shot really well at Humberside and Sasha cut it out.
Yeah, you cut it out, so I look like a muppet even more than I already do.
I cut what out? The hitting?
Yeah.
Apparently,
I illustrated that with my 725.
Yeah, by this point, Sasha had fallen asleep. It took so long to do. It doesn't matter. Because we proved that whole cartridge, the finest ammunition, was more than capable.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Isn't it?
It's not even basket weave, it's just the grain goes against it. That's a wicked thing. Same price.
Same price.
Same price, yeah, it's just an upgrade.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Hi David, I've been shooting Hydro Rod all year. I think it's not the best thing since sliced bread because it's not made of bread, as we've just discussed.
Yeah, okay, this is obviously just a quick thing just to get the sound levels right. You're absolutely right, but it is really fantastic. Great pattern, low recoil.
Yeah, low recoil, kills particularly well.
Yeah.
What's next?
In terms of the product development, we are now working on a 30 gram load with a bit of compression stage in it. So the 32 gram one that we started off had no compression stage in a 70mm. We've got a...
What's a compression stage?
Okay, the compression stage is the little bouncy bit at the bottom which takes the recoil out, drops the pressure.
That's very interesting.
Okay, and it will change the burning characteristics, so we might get the cartridge a little bit cleaner because currently the generations of powders that we've got are not burning as cleanly as we would like.
Not as clean as some of your other ammunition, certainly.
Correct, that's right. So that's something that's on the drawing board now. We're actually doing the development for next season.
Very exciting stuff.
So we'll then have 3 wads. We'll have a wad without a compression stage, the new one which has got a little bit of compression stage, and then the existing wad which we have for our lead loads. And that can also be compressed into a 65mm for 24 gram. So those 3 chassis types, we'll be using those to create other loads for next year.
And we are currently happy with the composition of Hydro Wood?
So the material is, it's tried and tested, and it's been used on the land for a long time, but this application is really, really new. Bearing in mind that a wall thickness for wad will be about 1 millimetre, so we don't know the degradation time yet. And in real time, we can't really say exactly what that is, but what I would say to you is that the Hydro Rod product has a really long shelf life, which is really important to us. So we're going for safety, we're going for consistency, and we're going for the ballistics.
Yeah,
and that's really what we're about at the moment.
It's not a toxic substance.
It definitely is not toxic.
So if a cow eats it, it's not going to, like...
No, there's absolutely no problem. It's absolutely fine.
So it doesn't really matter if it takes a little while, because a year is better than 3,000 years.
You're absolutely right. On the bottom of every wad that we have, it's got an H, which if anybody picks it up and goes, oh, what's that? It's H. So it's H for hydro wad, H for hull, and anybody that's in the know would then say, that's a hull wad, therefore it is definitely not plastic. And you have got the option of actually collecting it, and if you can't collect it, because in woodland, you can leave it and it will degrade. Now, given a year or two's time, we will then be able to say with confidence what the degradation time is. And at this stage, I don't know, because this is a new product that we moved to. We were originally going on the PVA route, which we decided that wasn't for us, so we abandoned that because of the concerns about the shelf life and the possible ingress of moisture, which may affect the performance of the wad. So that's where
you've gone for performance and barrel protection over degradation speed.
Correct.
Which is, I don't know, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think if it's going to break down, as long as it is going to break down, the time period is not really that important.
Yeah, providing it's inside of a decade.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as long as that.
Hopefully.
But until but it's early days. Trying to do an accelerated test is really difficult. There's nothing like time, and unfortunately time is ticking and we've just got to wait for the clock to come round.
This isn't the end, this is the step one.
Right. 2 years ago, all the cartridge companies got together and said, whoa, wait a minute, please guys, 5 years is rather a short time for us to do the development. We're all running as fast as we can. All of the cartridge companies are doing everything they can, but we still need that 5 years. And I think it will take us 5 years. Materials will come forward, there will be other things that we will be offered.
So I was going to say, from somebody who shot steel this year, and I've tried it out, John gave me some of the hydro wad steels to try up in Scotland on some seriously high stuff. Phenomenal. They've been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, clean kills, real hard hits. I mean, we're not getting wounds. You seem to get a real good, solid hit with them. I process all my own game from the shoot. I haven't found anything that's been shot to bits. I haven't found anything that's been, overly damaged or bled out inside. There's no meat damage to it. It's clean, it's effective, and they work. And they are very fast still. Very fast.
Extremely fast.
Extremely fast. It's probably the biggest thing.
As the years go by, we'll have different variants, and it'll be right. This is a 30-metre cartridge, a 45-metre cartridge, a 60-metre cartridge. That's what's going to come.
It makes the buying experience really easy. Go, where are you going? I'm going to the south of Hampshire on some pretty flat stuff. I want the 30-metre cartridge.
Yeah. I feel that will come. It's not there now because at this moment in time we've got to convince the shooting public that steel shot does work.
So you just need...
No, but other steel I've used, not mentioning any names, but other steel I've used,
it's less convincing.
No, less convincing. A lot less convincing and a lot more wounding. You can, you're getting a lot of hits and you're not getting the transfer of energy from the cartridge, through the shot to the bird. You seem to be getting a hit, a definite strike, which you can either visually see or hear without the impact. Whereas with the hydro wad steels, we're definitely getting a huge transfer of energy, which at the end of the day, like you say, sometimes may not be on a closer bird best thing for meat preservation. However, when you look at it from an ethics point of view, where you're wanting to kill that bird cleanly and kill it humanely, that's ideal because you're getting that big transfer, you're getting an outright kill, and the bird's down and out.
Perfect. Thank you very much, as always. You always release something at the British Shooting Show. Tell us what it is, and then I can give you my thoughts.
It's Invictus 9, so we have the usual wheel adjustment in the forend.
Yes.
So if you want to ease the action off a little bit, minus direction one click. The gun goes a little bit loose, just key in and plus direction one click, and you retighten the gun in.
The boss style, semi-boss style with the big curvy round thing.
Full of mythical creatures, the same as on the action. Set the gun off beautifully.
It's not bad.
It's one of those things where, okay, they've only been in with us a few days for launch here, but you can look at the detail, etc. Put the gun away, get it out an hour or two later, and look again, and you find some other little piece of engraving.
So I said to you, and I could be quite frank, I saw pictures of it on Facebook or Instagram or something, and I genuinely thought, that looks terrible.
Really?
Yeah, it photographed but it just made it so stupid. It looked like an old, do you remember of course you remember, the Beretta Gold Pigeon 2, or whatever it was, the EL2.
Yes.
With the deep relief. It looked like that. It looked soft. It looked a bit. It looks really good.
Yes, when you see it in the flesh.
I'm sure better photos and videos will come in time, but this looks really good.
Good.
I like it.
Good. I'm glad you like it. The reaction so far today is everyone else likes it too.
How much is it?
Would you believe the recommended retail is $13,400.
It's not bad for what it is. What's the thoughts behind the... I mean, I understand the texture is to hold oil and whatever. Well, what's the thoughts behind it? Fake Damascus look sort of thing?
It is really.
It's just a texture. They needed a texture. They chose that texture?
They did. I mean, as you know, normally they're jewelled, but I think that
duelling would clash. This is way nicer.
That looks far nicer. In actual fact, all the production has moved over to this particular finish.
It's quite pleasant. I'm not a deep relief guy, but that is really very pleasant. Well done.
Thank you.
It was the Revenant last time we saw each other.
That's right.
2
years ago.
I liked the Revenant. I think I prefer the Revenant to this, but they're different.
They are entirely different. And I think really it lends itself to shooting game or clays equally as well.
Very much so. I like that a lot. I think the profile of it is particularly delicious.
Yeah.
That forend is nice. It's very Guarini. I think that's the nicest thing about it. It's very Guarini.
Like I'm on my tiptoes, baby. You think a little too small. I got big goals, baby. Ain't where the money at. Look, I just need.
We've got the A1200 XL Sporting, the new one for this year.
Ooh.
It has got the architectural finish.
Kind of like Cerakote, but it's a ceramic coating.
I don't know if it is actually ceramic, but they.
It's cool.
It's a finish that obviously protects against corrosion.
It's very nice.
Abrasion and wear.
Because it gets pretty sweaty when you're clay shooting in the summer.
It does.
Absolutely. Oversized controls.
Large bolt. I love a large
bolt. It's out as well, so it's bigger.
That's quite nice. It looks a different finish to usual as well. I like it. I don't hate it. I mean, the gun's quite modern.
Yeah.
It's not in your face either, is it?
It's subtle.
Subtle, very
and
subtle.
then having the bright blue.
Oh, see, that perhaps is a bit too Beretta for me. I understand that's probably why they did it.
Yeah, they like their blue.
Yeah, it's Beretta blue. It comes optionally with the kickoff,
yes,
I take it.
Yeah.
And matte black barrels as well. It's the matte season this year.
It is. Everybody's gone matte.
Everyone got COVID, came back and like, gloss is dead.
Yeah, we don't want to be shiny anymore, we want to be very dull.
Yeah, Browning, Beretta, like we've had enough of shine.
But Benelli, best finish.
Yes, which is very pretty. That's very
nice. And it's a really great finish, and that comes with a 25-year warranty on that. So.
You heard it here first. You can't have a play. It's a bit more than you than me.
It feels very much like a Beretta Auto, mate. It feels like
they just work.
Yeah, they do.
And they're not, and I don't want to sound offensive, they're not exciting. But why would you change something if it's not broke?
It works.
Yeah.
If it keeps working, why would you change it?
They've made it faster, and they've made it more specific to the thing. I quite like the little shiny band.
I like the idea of the big bolt handle. I like the idea of the oversized controls to it.
Oh, it stops mucking around. When you're at a play shoot, you don't want to be fiddling. It does.
I like the kickoff. I don't know how much.
A lot, mate. They are really.
That's going to take off you, but I like it.
I think the whole trigger guard and this whole shape is better and different.
There's a smaller trigger guard as well, I think.
Is this serve a purpose?
Yeah, that's what locks it back.
That is the lockback. Yeah.
So
it's exactly the same as usual.
Lock it back. Yeah.
Oh no, this is there. It's just simpler. Like it just rides your finger. Whereas before you always had to.
There's like a little dinky
That's a
button
good improvement. I like that. It's well done. I mean, Beretta doesn't generally make crap.
No.
But it's very nice. It's full of more features than you perhaps would usually, or nice detail than you'd usually find in a Beretta.
They've considered things.
Yeah.
The flowing checkering all the way up the forend. That's quite cool.
Cute.
I like that. Yeah, it's nice. Have to get it out and give it a try, shall we?
Yeah, I reckon.
David, do you have any words of wisdom to the TGS Pro?
Well, we've got to share the same audience anyway, so hello everybody.
Workout tips. We share yours.
Workout tips?
Yeah, mate, you're looking.
No, I just have
Look at this man.
What do you mean?
Look at that jawline. I've lost mine. I'm softened up, and he's now like got a chisel.
Yeah, he looks ridiculously good.
I remember that from those adverts back in the 90s.
No, those are the days. Those are the days.
We're almost at the end of the day, and we're with the legendary Big Dave and the American Kyle.
Dave does it all. Last time he was on, he was running a day for us. We were shooting his birds.
Yeah.
Now he's here.
Many talents, mate.
He's showing us his rifle.
Yeah, so he changed his job pretty quick, I hear. They call him Quickfire Dave. Not for that reason, actually. All right, show us something cool. Preferably a Weatherby.
Really cool. Weatherby. Full carbon fibre rifle.
Titanium action.
Titanium action. Woo. Cuts down on weight. Higher strength than steel.
No, you got to hand it to me, Dave. I can't feel it. This is your kind of humour. I'm being Dave West. Mate, it's really nice. We had a look earlier. It's
looks cool.
Mate, if you were worried about guns kicking you,
It's like shooting a 22.
4,300 quid, which puts it pretty meaty in the market.
It does.
But then you weigh it up next to a Blazer, it's pretty good value.
Not made of titanium on the Blazers. These are titanium.
Titanium and carbon fibre.
Yeah. Carbon fibre with a stainless barrel underneath.
Accuracy guarantee?
Sub-MOA guaranteed with premium ammo. So
Premium ammo.
you can't shoot core locks, but you can go shoot other stuff, and it will shoot.
Cool, look, my group, they grew pretty well. Just no guarantees.
Just no guarantees with core.
The big cool muzzle brake on the end of it. If you want to deafen everybody, that's pretty cool.
That is
I like
pretty
that.
cool.
It is 5/8 by 24 threads, so you
Is
can
it
put a moderator
straight on a
it.
mod?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Ideal.
You know what? That's the nice thing about working for a company that has their tax stamp.
Yeah, there you go. Just unlimited taking out.
Yes.
So talk us through the highlights, other than it's made of carbon fibre and pixie dust.
Okay. So
And it's got a fluted bolt that is very sexual, by the way.
So spiral fluted the bolt. We've scalloped out the cocking shroud here, hollowed out the bolt handle.
It's very anal.
Yes. Yeah, just trying to shave every ounce off the gun. So the stock is a Peak 44 carbon fiber stock with our proprietary 3D hex recoil pad. So this recoil pad is actually 3D printed.
Wow.
So we're doing that because we can actually put in a pretty intricate lattice work inside.
Yep.
So when you're shooting it, it actually collapses down quite a bit on itself versus a normal recoil
And
pad.
you're going to want it because, although we joke about it kicking, you can't cheat physics.
Exactly.
It's going to kick more than a 20-pound rifle.
Yes. So the big thing with this is between that titanium muzzle brake on there and that recoil pad, like the one I shot in 300 Weatherby, is about the equivalent of shooting a 243. It just knocks it down considerably.
That is impressive. So we're here at the NGO stand with Jeff. How are we doing, Jeff? You all right?
Yes, thanks. Yeah, good.
Good. What are you guys doing here today?
I mean, firstly, it's the first show after the season, you know, so all the keepers are having a bit of a break, come away, but we're here because we want to put our word out. We want to let people know what we're about, who we are. You know, there's lots of people, the converted people, but we also want to get across to the unconverted people about the good that the NGO, that the keepers up and down the country are doing in the countryside.
It's nice to touch base with the keepers after the season, see how everybody's welfare is as well, isn't it? You know, I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Keepers, it can be a testing time, I'm sure you know.
Well, it can be a lonely job. It can be a hard job. It can be a very stressful job.
Yeah.
You know, if the season hadn't gone quite as well as you hope to, you know, you're the one that's fronting it all the time. The keeper's the one that's fronting it. So, you know, sometimes it's just good for people to come out and have a chat.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And what's it? You got any big plans for this year?
I mean, it's our 25th anniversary, basically.
That's worth celebrating.
Absolutely. And what we hope to achieve is working for the keeper community, make sure that they know exactly what's going on out there, legislation. We're out there trying to fight for things that are going to be changed.
But I think that if nothing else, that should put into people's eyes where they need to be supporting the NGO, because the last 12 months with legislation changes, with court battles, with everything that's gone on in these last sort of 12, 24 months, the NGO has been the one behind it in my eyes.
Well, we're out there fighting, you know, because it's our jobs.
Yes.
It can be people's hobbies and people's sport, but it's our jobs. So we're out there fighting. So if we feel that something's going to change, it's going to affect the keeping fraternity, we want to be in there to make them changes workable for the keeping fraternity, not have changes forced upon us that are just unworkable, which has happened in the past, you know, and then we're backtracking. We have to go back in there to get it changed.
Definitely.
We want to be in there in front, you know, and we're facing all sorts of legal challenges that's going on now. We want to be there fighting for our survival, fighting for our future, not just fighting for today, you know, fighting for tomorrow.
Brilliant. All right, well, thanks for your time, Jeff. Great to see you again.
No problem at all, mate. Take
Good to see
care.
you.
Cheers, bud.
I'm stood with Tom Douglas, taxidermist extraordinaire, took my taxidermy virginity and did an amazing job, by the way. Full recommendation, full endorsement. That's so cool. talk me how you make one of these, by the way. Like,
from the moment it's shot, I've got to skin the whole thing off. There's a full flat skin, so right down to turning the toes out. Then that goes off to be tanned. We tan in-house ourselves. And then the form that's in that, which is foam, because the hog deer is not an English species, they're from India, Pakistan, but they free roam in Australia.
So you can import
in England, they're in parks, etc. So I had to import the foam and its eyes from a taxidermy company in Australia. Luckily for us, the Australian dollar's weak compared to the pound. So by the time you exchanged and shipped, it worked out about the same money as the form would cost us normally here for an English species. And then once it's fully tanned, we either shave it right down thin and then mount it onto the form.
You can glue it on, pin it in place?
We use hide paste, which is like a type of glue.
Yeah.
So we cover the form in that, and then as you go in, you smooth it down, and as it dries, it helps bond on.
Yeah.
We just use pins to hold it in place to keep it tucked back into the creases, because otherwise when it dries, the skin can pull out and you lose the definition.
Always see it on your Instagram, which is the Wiltshire Redneck, and you see animals with pins sticking out their face.
I mean, if you had the time, you could not use the pins and just fiddle with it every day.
But then you're going to be twice the price, twice the man hours. It's not efficient.
Yeah, it's easier to just use the pins. It doesn't hurt, and just fiddle with it a little bit, but let the pins do a lot of the fiddling.
No, I think it's lovely, by the way.
And then the base is all made by me. The rocks are all handmade by me. Everything. The driftwood's from a loch in Scotland.
Nice.
Because we don't like using.
Did you shoot that?
Yeah, I shot that one. We don't like using saltwater driftwood, so off the inland locks it's freshwater driftwood that's probably 500,000 years old. It's been in the locks, you know, and it gets a lovely colour when the sun's bleached it off the edge.
Yeah. No, that's really nice.
Yeah. The wild boar was shot in England as well.
That's a big old lump, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, that's a great big lump of foam inside in.
So they don't weigh a lot?
No, not too much. Like I can pick both up by myself. It's just,
you're a really strong boot.
He's a bit more awkward, but they're not crazy heavy. A lot of the weight is the base as well. Now they're mounted.
Yeah.
When they weren't on the bases, they weren't too bad. It's only a high density expanding foam, so the same sort of stuff you get in a can, but it's just sets. A lot more solid. There's one over on the top.
I can imagine there's going to be a load of people out there go and get a can of foam and start carving up
that
moulds.
Stuff's low density, so it would just compress. It doesn't hold the shape and wouldn't last time. So we do everything from cleaning heads on shields to shoulder mounts, full mounts, and then I just specialise in the big mammals in the game.
Yeah.
Birds. So Flick did these birds. These are hers.
Right, they are wicked. Yeah. You're a very talented man. That's enough gassing up. Go and check out his Instagram. So there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be angry that we haven't looked at a lot of stuff.
There is, but we just ran out of time.
Big time.
It was impressive how many people were here after COVID and how many stalls and how many little alleyways there were.
And the effort that these guys have put into their stands is unreal. We didn't even go to the Heinel Outdoor stand.
No, we
didn't go to the Blazer stand,
no.
the Pulsar. We just haven't been anywhere, let's be blunt. But we've done a lot of talking.
We've done a lot of talking, a lot of walking.
I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, and I've had a good day.
Been good to catch up with people, hasn't it?
Good
to catch up.
I've been worried that the show wasn't going to be good.
I was hopeful.
Yeah, I was hopeful, but I was worried. And I'm very happy that I've come.
Yeah. Until next year, then. We better go and get
We'll have some fun in between.
Yeah, until next year at the British Food Show. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that's it for the year, mate.
Yeah,
We've got some serious clays to murder.
All right. We're going to send some clays to Jesus.
Send them to Jesus.
Send them to Jesus.
Send them to Jesus.